Before we begin, I would like to invite our listeners to a series of workshops starting in January and going through April designed to enhance your healing practice, learn effective self-healing techniques, and teach you how to do Akashic dowsing for yourself. We're calling it the Winter Workshop Extravaganza, and the only thing we're missing is you. Each workshop will be conducted via Zoom, and all participants will receive specially designed workshop materials, live instruction, and plenty of time for individual practice and feedback. Please visit vitalbioenergetics.com and click on the Workshops tab for our list of available workshops. Each workshop has its own dedicated webpage and a 2-minute video introduction telling you all about it. I can't wait to see you there. And now for today's podcast.
Welcome to High Vibes with your host, Bill G. At High Vibes, we're looking into what it means to be a fourth dimensional being in an ever-changing world. We hope that by listening to our podcast, you can feel a greater sense of peace and connection as we collectively raise our energetic vibration to the next level. And now for today's podcast.
Hello and welcome to High Vibes. I'm your host, Bill G, and today's special guest is Laura Edelman. Laura is located in Kingston, New Hampshire, and she has a background in massage therapy and a vast knowledge of how the human body functions and moves. However, she's always been fascinated by the part of us that we cannot see. She's a firm believer that disease and afflictions of our physical body begin in our energy field. And after experiencing energy work firsthand and healing herself, she realized that this is how she wants to help others. Her greatest joy in this work is seeing people realize that they're the helm of their own healing. Her intention is to give people the tools and the inner wisdom to feel balanced and whole again. The day she found Reiki and experienced the universal life force at another level was the day her life changed. She knew then that she is here on this earth to share and teach these beautiful healing therapies. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill.
So, Laura, let's first talk about your own healing journey. So in your introduction here, you talked about your own healing journey through energy healing. So let's begin with what your healing journey was and how that led to being a Reiki practitioner and teacher.
Well, like I said in my website, I started with massage therapy. When I took massage therapy, it was a holistic program. So back in 2001, I was introduced to polarity therapy, which I didn't really use it a lot, but it was something that I remembered years down the road when I was in a dark place. In 2013, when I had my son, I suffered from postpartum blues. It was terrible. It was supposed to be the happiest time of my life, and I found myself very depressed. I was self-medicating. I just felt like I had lost myself. That's the only way I can describe it. That sparked something in me, and I remembered that feeling I had, that clarity of just feeling like I was with the divine back when I was doing polarity therapy. So I looked for a polarity therapist. I began to go and see her once a month, and the depression, the fog just lifted slowly but surely. It just, it didn't happen overnight. There was no magic wand, but every time I went, I felt like I was gaining a piece of myself back. And it was like one foot in front of the other. They say everything happens slowly. I got myself out of that. And this polarity therapist that I was seeing introduced me to my Reiki teacher. And I decided, gosh, I saw something in her that I wanted for myself. I saw how happy and how inspiring she was and how she was helping other people. So I took Reiki with her in 2016 after 2 years of doing my own inner work. And once I started taking those classes, it snowballed. I started taking everything I could get my hands on. I just wanted to learn everything. I decided I wanted to teach, because what better way to spread that knowledge and to reach more people?
Excellent. So, I sometimes describe Reiki as the gateway drug into the energy healing world. Like most people, when they think of energy healers, the first thing they think of is Reiki, because that's more widespread. It's fairly, it's even been adapted into the Western medical model in many ways. You're finding like nurse practitioners and ER nurses being trained in Reiki to help elevate the surgeries that they're overseeing, or helping the patients and whatever. I mean, some people call it healing hand, some people call it Reiki. I actually am a Reiki Master teacher myself. I learned back in 1996, and I became a master teacher in the Sui tradition. So why don't we talk a little bit about your Reiki tradition, or what you follow, and how it's evolved throughout the years?
Yes. I love that you just called it the gateway drug, because that's how I refer to Reiki. Same thing. It just opened the doors to so much more. Reiki by itself, of course, is a powerful modality. Experiencing quantum healing, experiencing IET, integrated energy therapy, it just leads to more. I still teach Reiki. I feel like Reiki's always flowing from my hands when I'm working with my clients, but I'm always doing something else. Integrative energy therapy, we're calling in the angels. It works with, your heart energy, feeling grateful and opening up that heart energy. It works with the 12 strand DNA. So honestly, I feel like, I don't want to say I've outgrown Reiki, not at all. I actually feel like when I started doing all of these other modalities, that I was kind of cheating on Reiki. But I thought, hey, if this is making me feel really good, let's try teaching IET and see if people come for this. And so people come for classes, and people come for healing sessions with integrated energy therapy. So Reiki, like you said, was a gateway for me. I always have a special place for it in my heart. It's always flowing. However, I'm adding other things now into my practice.
Well, I have the exact same journey myself.
Yes.
I started out as a Reiki Master teacher, and then I found that Reiki had its limitations, just like everything has its limitations. And I needed something that was more specific, something that was going to provide me with more information. So that's why I turned to Akashic dowsing, and I learned how to do Akashic dowsing through the spiritual response therapy system. And then a couple decades later, my wife and I are developing our own protocols within Akashic dowsing too, which provides now information incorporating time travel and that sort of stuff. It's just amazing. And like you said, the Reiki doesn't stop. It's just that gateway. It's that opening of that door. It's opening of that heart. It's having that energetic flow and knowing what that energetic flow feels like. And that's what I think what a lot of people get away with in a Reiki class is, if they get nothing else out of that class, they can feel the energy moving through their hands, and they can feel how, oh, this is what the chakras feel like on a kinesthetic level. And then they can take that and just do Reiki on their friends and family. And some people go to take it to the next step and turn it into a business, which, they turn into Reiki healing practice. And some people are very, very successful at that, which is fantastic. So for the benefit of the people who are tuning in and they're like, what is it? They're talking about this gateway drug, Reiki. What the heck is Reiki? Give us kind of a Reiki 101 primer of, how would you describe it to someone who has never experienced this before?
Right. Well, Reiki is flowing through us, whether or not you take a class. Reiki has been flowing through us ever since we took our first breath. It is universal life force energy. It is what makes us alive. It's what makes anything alive. Taking a Reiki class brings your awareness to it, and having an attunement, it has been scientifically proven that it does actually, in fact, open up your chakras so that more of this universal life force energy can flow through us. And when that happens, we feel better. It's just, it makes sense. When you take a Reiki class and you hear about chakras and you try to imagine chakras, it's kind of difficult until you get that pendulum and you actually see the spinning of the chakras. It's mind blowing. Kids love it, adults love it, people of all ages just get, I still get excited about teaching that part in my Reiki classes because it's tangible. It's something that we hear about, but until you actually see it happening, or, knowing that you're not moving that pendulum, that their life force is actually moving the pendulum, it's mind blowing and it's mind opening. And I feel like everybody should learn it or experience it.
Right. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think that even if you're a person who has no intention of going into energy healing or has no intention of learning any other kind of modality, learn Reiki. Take a class, so that way when you go to see your polarity practitioner or your Akashic dowser or your whatever you're going to see, or even your acupuncturist or your chiropractor, your massage therapist, anybody that you are going to be seeing to help you facilitate that healing, you can then activate the Reiki yourself. Even if the person you're going to see is not a practitioner themselves of Reiki, you can activate it in yourself, and that helps empower you to be more of the self-healer within that process, because ultimately that's where the healing is. Right. You and I, we don't do any healing. We facilitate the self-healing ability in others while they're coming to see us. And they're coming to see us for knowledge. They're coming to us for an experience. And as you said, the energy, I mean, Reiki is, it's life. Rei, R-E-I, Rei is life, and Ki, K-I, or Chi is energy, universal life energy. And that's what is flowing through you, whether you want to acknowledge that or not. Let's talk about this wonderful environment that you have that I'm seeing in your background. I mean, our listeners can't see it, but you've got this beautiful yurt structure that is your office. And, I've always wanted one of these myself. So let's hear the story of how this healing space came to be, and how, when people come to see you for a class or a session, how that space helps to facilitate that energy flow.
First, I just want to go back to something, and I think it will tie back into this. When we were talking about Reiki, I think one of the biggest things about Reiki, and when I first started teaching it, I'm not even sure I really understood or fully experienced it yet, but part of learning Reiki is believing, or being told to believe, that anything is possible. Now, I really didn't begin to feel that in my, to my core, until I started tapping into some quantum healing, the spoon bending, that, realizing that we have this power that we can set intentions and manifest things with our mind is huge. So yes, Reiki, you can learn about those sorts of things, but until I personally, it might not be this way for everybody, but personally, until I started going down different rabbit holes and finding different ways and different ways of thinking, really, really helped me to manifest my yurt cabin. Actually, years and years ago, I knew I wanted a yurt cabin. I was drawn to it. I didn't know, I wasn't a holistic practitioner at the time, so I didn't really know what I wanted it for, but I knew I wanted it. And people would say, Laura, what are you going to do in a yurt? I'm like, what wouldn't I do in a yurt? It's awesome. The round space, there's something about it. It's very healing. It's very nurturing. It feels womb-like, if you must. You can't see it right now because I have the curtains drawn, but I'm tucked away in the woods. So when the curtains are open, it's just, every season it's different. You have in the summertime, it's just green out there, trees, tree trunks. We get lots of neat animals coming and giving us messages all the time. In the winter, it's beautiful when we have the snow falling. Right now, the change of leaves, they're kind of all falling off now. We still have some bright yellow ones, but it's different every time you come to visit. If it's raining, there's some rain on the roof, and that can just lull you to sleep. But it was a dream of mine. I did some manifestation work with IET, the advanced level. You learn different techniques, and I just did it all the time, and it happened very quickly. I thought it was going to be about 10 years, and I got in too. So, and everything aligned, and it worked out perfectly that I was able to get it. I put it on order before COVID happened. So it was in 2019, I ordered it. It came from Colorado. It's a kit. So we were able to put it up in 3 days. So it was really the silver lining of the pandemic, just having this space, because I was practicing out of my home. And, like everybody, the kids came home, the husband's working from home. I couldn't really have clients or classes in my home anymore. So there was a few months where I was able to build this, and I had clients. We wore masks. I had students, I had classes, and we just would open up the windows, put our masks on. And I actually feel like I got busier during COVID. I always told my husband, I use the corny Kevin Costner line from Field of Dreams. I said, if we build it, they will come, and it worked. They want to come into this space. It's very peaceful.
So what kind of classes do you hold there?
So I teach Reiki, as you know. I teach integrative energy therapy. And just recently, I've started holding sound baths in here with one of my buddies who does sound healing with crystal bowls, and we'll do angel meditations. And we have one coming up with an Arcturian themed sound bath. So we'll be journeying with the Arcturians. So,
are you a sound healer? Do you have that in your tool belt?
I don't, but my friend Jeffrey Warren, he's out of Manchester or Bedford. He does so many different things, and he's actually going to be we'll be hosting a sound healing certification class in the spring. So I'll take that with him. I know I could go and do it, but you don't really need to be certified to do sound healing, but I want to learn and I want to experience it. And, before I go and hang that shingle out on my door.
Do you bring in people from the outside to teach classes, or these are mostly just yours?
This is actually, yeah, that's funny you say that. That's actually one of the things that I have brewing. I've reached out to many of my healing friends. I feel like I'm at the point right now where I'd like to bring in other practitioners, showcase what they do, just collaborate. I've always worked alone. I've always been a lone wolf until October, when I had Jeffrey come and do the sound bath with me. So I feel very drawn to working with others now. And I didn't before, and that's all right. It's just part of our journey. It never felt right to me.
Well, I mean, that's part of the energy that's growing here, that I've noticed, absolutely, and that's actually a part of what High Vibes is evolving into. It's turning into this vehicle of community that I never imagined that's what High Vibes would evolve into, but it's what's happening. It's part of that integration that's happening, this collaboration, this creative collaboration, because when you let go of the idea that we're in competition with one another, that we are actually part of all the same community, and that my clients are drawn to me because there's an energetic bond that they mesh with, and your clients are drawn to you. And so, once you kind of embrace that idea, we're not in competition with each other. Now we're free to collaborate and share. And oh, well, I've been practicing Reiki for 20 years. You've been practicing for 20 years. And this is how I learned how to do it. Oh, that looks really cool. I'll start integrating that myself. And I find that level of collaboration is just so refreshing and so expansive at the same time. So I'm very happy to hear that your field is opening up to that. So are you part of the Holistic Pros family?
Yes, I am a founding member.
Oh, you are a founding member. Excellent.
Yeah, I love what you said about no competition. That's a lesson that my Reiki teacher taught early on and stuck with me, because it really is so important. We're not in competition. When we feel as though we are, we put out into the universe that we are lacking, and then that's what we're going to bring in. We lift each other up. We lift ourselves up. It's wonderful. I love that you said that. It's so true.
Yeah, I find that more and more. In fact, the more expansive I've been becoming and the more collaboration I do with others, the stronger my practice gets. I'm like, nobody's taking away my clients. Nobody, because my clients are my clients. And it comes down to if you're working with a client and it's no longer a good fit for you, the more people the more you can refer out to somebody who you feel would be a better fit for that person. And some practitioners view referring out as this kind of icky thing, like, oh no, you're giving me your problem patients. And that's not it at all. It's that I feel that you can better serve this particular client than I can, or say you've got a skill set or experience set that I don't have that is going to better serve that client. Because in the end, it's all about servicing of the client.
Exactly. And I've had clients tell me, oh, I went to see so-and-so, and then they feel a little bad about it. And I'm like, that's great. That's great that you're trying new things. Like, oh, tell me all about it. I would never, they're not mine. They come to me. And if they want to go see other people, that's fine. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be platonic.
So in addition to Reiki, what other modalities do you offer to your clients? Are you experimenting with new things, or are you primarily just focusing around the Reiki thing?
I primarily use integrative energy therapy, IET. I have found that it's just very, very effective with clearing imprints in the, not only the physical and emotional, but we're getting imprints that are releasing in the mental layer and the karmic layer. A lot of people are releasing karmic wounds, ancestral wounds, which is really wonderful. That's why I really, like I said earlier, the Reiki's always flowing, but my target is IET, because it just feels like it's really getting to the root of the problems. I'm always trying new things. I just started back in May. I took a class for biomagnetism, so I got certified in biomagnetic pair therapy. It's completely different from what I was doing, so I kind of just put it out there to my people, my friends, family, my clients that I already had, and offered discounted sessions, asked people to commit to 3 sessions just so they could really feel the effects of the magnets. And, I didn't really know where it was going to go. I knew I had to take it. I didn't know how it was going to fit into my practice, but I can say after having many, many sessions, I'm very happy I did. I have returning clients. It's building. I feel like it was it was definitely a good move. People are feeling better. And that's really what I'm going for. That's my favorite part about this work, is seeing people feel better. So, I'm always trying new things. I get very excited about Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love how he shows the data. To me, there are a lot of people out there that I'll use my father as an example. He is a mechanical engineer. He's always been very supportive about what I do. He's actually let me do polarity therapy and, Reiki, IET on him. but he wasn't really a believer until I started a book club. What was it, 2 years ago? I started a book club on becoming supernatural. And he read it. And because he's a technical guy and because there was data, at the end of the book club, he said, Laura, I'm a believer. Like he really, and when he sees colors, when he's on my table and closes his eyes and sees things in his inner vision, little movies, that's proof right there. He's not making it up. He's tapping into the quantum field. So I am waiting for my BioWell camera to come. It scans your aura, your energy field. It's a quantum-based technology from a man in Russia. I haven't learned how to use it yet, but my goal is to bring, as I said before, I want to bring practitioners in, especially the ones that would like to scan people before their meditation or their sound bath, or I have a lady that's going to do light language. But these different modalities, I would like to use this BioWell camera to test the before and the after, to see how the chakras align, how they just feel better after. Just having that proof to me gets me really excited. I don't know how it's gonna do I don't know if it's gonna draw a lot of people in, but it's something that excites me. So I knew I just had to do it.
Well, I mean, if it excites you, then it's going to excite other people because you're raising your energy. If you're bringing in something and you're like, I don't know about this, nobody's going to show up because that's the energy you're putting out there. I don't know. So if it's something that's really turning you on, then that is your high self saying, do it.
Yes.
What do you got to lose?
Exactly. I agree.
Oh, that's fantastic. So can you tell people where they can find you to sign up for your classes or just to come out and meet you? Now, do you do remote sessions or do you mostly do hands-on?
I do. And I was going to mention that because I know you're in Vermont, so you might have a lot of listeners that aren't so close to Kingston, New Hampshire. So yes, I love remote sessions. I find them very beneficial for the people. I always explain to people, you have to try it. You have to experience it to believe it. I feel like when we bring the physical, we remove the physical being, we're working with pure energy. And there's so much that can be relayed, messages, intuitive messages. And it's very, very effective. So yes, I love distance healing sessions. So you can find me at www.onelighthh.com. I'm also on Facebook. It's One Light Holistic Healing. I'm on Instagram. And I'm in Kingston, New Hampshire.
Well, thank you so much for coming to talk to us today. And again, her information will be in the show notes. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening. For more information about Bill and Nina G, please go to www.vitalbioenergetics.com. See you next time.